Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video today, I'm checking out a video titled I was completely wrong about autumns in America. I know Americans call it fall, so that's one big difference. And this is by Lost in the Pond, who I've done quite a few reactions to, and he always does great videos. So let's get right into it for today and let's see what he's wrong about. His videos are always good, so go subscribe to him if you haven't already for some reason.
Autumn is here, the humidity of summer now a distant memory, like the tribulations of my youth or fidget spinners.
I love autumns in the Midwest. It's a time when Americans come together to enjoy pumpkins, quaff apple cider, and overdo it on the flannel shirts. But when I first moved to the United States from England, my view of Midwestern autumn was quite different. You want to know why? Here's Lawrence from 2008 to tell you why.
Hi, I'm Lawrence from 2008, a time when I had way better eyesight. One day, my wife and I were lying on a blow-up mattress at my parents' house, plotting an unexpected move to a country called the United States.
Back then, I was a wee little nipper. Some have speculated as young as 26. My worldview was so small it could fit inside a matchbox. Not literally, that would be really weird.
But like I said, I was 26. I thought I knew better than the very people who had guided me through my youth.
I feel everyone feels like that,
my mum,
though.
My dad, Mr.
Everyone
Miyagi.
gets like that sometimes.
I thought that I was making the right move, that life in the good old US of A would be a doddle, a walk in the park, a breeze. In my mind, all I'd have to do was show up, flash my accent, and America would make me their monarch. When I
That reminds me of that film Love Actually. Do you guys remember that film? It's a very classic British Christmas film where this guy plans to go to America and get all the girls with his British accent.
stepped off the plane, I found myself in the bountiful kingdom of Indiana. The date was November 10th, 2008, the middle of autumn, except something wasn't right.
And I'm not talking about the usual reasons that people feel that way when visiting Indiana. I'm talking about the weather. It was absolutely freezing. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, why do the British always exaggerate the weather? But here's the thing. I wasn't. Historical weather records for Indianapolis confirm that my 11 p.m. arrival time coincided with temperatures of 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Quite literally the freezing point of water and nose hair.
Already alarm bells were going off, which is a particular problem when you're leaving an airport. This didn't feel like the autumns I'd always known. In fact, my initial belief was that things were completely and utterly a little bit not good.
Not 9 hours earlier, I'd been in London, where average November temperatures are typically 17 degrees warmer than those of my current predicament.
Well, 17 degrees warmer is a big difference. And in autumn, it isn't that cold. Like, it's not warm. It's not like freezing like you'd expect in the winter. So that must have been a huge shock. Personally, autumn is one of my favorite times of the year. It's just so cozy. I really like autumn.
It's often said that first impressions are everything. For a couple of years afterwards, I clung to the false notion that the Midwest didn't even have an autumn, that it cruelly transitioned from summer to winter, bringing November temperatures that aren't entirely fit for humans. But it turns out there were two glaring problems with this assessment. Firstly, the date of my arrival had simply seen an anomaly, with average November temperatures relatively on par with my hometown of Grimsby. Secondly, Indiana's actual winters make 32 degrees seem like a fortnight in Cancun, but that's another story.
And so a few years later, I woke up one morning and went a bit heavy on the exposition.
Right, so given that the Midwest doesn't not have autumns, I suppose that I, the chief protagonist of this story, have just realised that the Midwest does in fact have autumns. What are you looking at?
Fine, but as the years rolled on, like this toilet paper falling down steps for some reason, I noticed something. Americans didn't just experience autumn, some made it their entire personality. They willingly consumed something by the name of pumpkin-laced souffle.
Yeah, pumpkin spice lattes. I know Americans go crazy for them, especially the women. Obviously, there's probably some men out there that like it, but I normally see women posting with that. Like, don't get me wrong, if it tastes good, I ain't got nothing against anyone having those, of course. And there's also that woman on Twitter, I'm not sure her name, where autumn is kind of a whole personality. Like, she does all them poses and stuff. I literally have no idea about her name, but it's like a massive meme.
Pumpkin spice latte?
Same thing. Their homes became temporary showcases for the colour orange, largely so that their Instagram feeds could do the same.
And real champions of autumn all had one thing in common. They all had doormats bearing the words "Happy Fall, y'all." As an English person, the sight of Americans worshipping at the altar of autumn was jarring at first. For me, the season had always been about moaning about damp leaves or burning effigies down at the beach, or sometimes both at the same time.
But then I remembered something, a challenge I'd laid down to myself while I myself laid down on that mattress. When you move there, try to embrace everything that life throws at you, except raccoons. One day after leaving work, I decided to walk home via Lincoln Park rather than catching the L.
I wanted to be by myself and shut out the world for a bit, so I put on my headphones and listened to something relaxing, like BBC Sounds number 24, for example.
As the crisp autumn air filled my lungs, I became entranced by the sight of a single leaf slowly falling to the ground.
As it reached its destination, I realised it was one of thousands. The colour palette leaned heavily into green and orange, like the Irish flag or the head of an Oompa Loompa.
Absent the English drizzle, there was something elevated, perhaps even magical, about this American scene.
In Indiana, where the leaves of Brown County are admittedly among the best in the Midwest, I didn't get out as much as I do in Chicago, at least not on foot.
In Lincoln Park, those same feet moved through the leaves like wind from a panther's arse.
Except the general aroma was pleasant, similar in nature to the autumns of my youth. Back home, there was always something particularly spellbinding about this time of year. It probably helped that Halloween, Guy Fawkes, and my birthday all fell within days of each other. And while Americans aren't known for letting off fireworks on November 5th, the country is no stranger to autumn festivities in autumn. That last word was redundant. Between October 31st and December 31st, America turns into one giant party. You've got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas Day, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve, and the birthday of the greatest president of all time, Bill Pullman. With such an array of festivities, it's little wonder that my own birthday often gets forgotten. In fact, in 2020, I even missed it myself. Mind you, of course, that was the year that a certain something spread around the world.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Monoliths.
Oh. I remember this, actually.
Do you not remember? Strange monoliths started showing up around the globe.
I remember that. I can't remember. I think it was like a prank or something, wasn't it? I can't really remember what happened, but I do remember that, actually.
Actually, come to think of it, since the first one was spotted in Utah, I haven't been the same. It's like I've become this entirely different person, right? Always asking myself, am I really here? Do I actually exist? What exactly are hands?
No, my dear Lawrence, it wasn't the monoliths that did that. That was just some art students mucking about. The spell was cast on you by somebody else entirely.
I've been doing a lot of thinking recently, and I don't think that I can put this off any longer. I've decided that I'm going to change my name.
To what?
To Paul Pumpkin Cheeks. Now, I do realise that this might come as a shock to my audience, who will nonetheless appreciate the improvements to my face. But please reserve your judgment until the end, by which time I'll be gone and Lawrence will return. For now, I'm the embodiment, if you will, of autumn, at least in the eyes of this daft pillock. Basically, the backstory here is that Lawrence accidentally took a sip of pumpkin fried souffle.
Pumpkin spice latte?
And he instantly turned into Paul Pumpkin Cheeks. Now, while this might sound like his accent's changed. What do I do? Now, while this might sound like it were premeditated by somebody close to Lawrence, it did give the YouTube sensation the final jolt that he needed to finally embrace autumns in the Midwest. What I'm saying is it was premeditated by his wife.
The face comes and goes, almost literally at the minute. My journey from autumn denier to literal fall guy has been long, arduous, and fraught with cinnamon. But on reflection, when you take into account the oppressive humidity of the Midwestern summer, not to mention the cruel freeze of its wintry sister, fall represents something of a middle child, which is probably why I neglected it for so long. And just like the monoliths of 2020, the season completely disappears before you can say, open the pod bay door.
Why didn't you tell me I had my glasses on?
Okay, so that video is very, very good. I was completely wrong about autumns in America. He said when he first went to the Midwest, he instantly got hit by the cold. He weren't expecting it to be that cold. And that's kind of crazy because I feel it gets kind of cold with autumns here. But here is that much colder. Really did surprise me. Yeah, I know about the pumpkin spice lattes, and some people really love autumn in America. They always take those photos by the leaves. And I have to say, it does look very beautiful during that time of the year. And I also like the fact that it's very cozy. It just feels a lot more cozy in autumn or fall, as you guys call it. And it seems like Americans normally, on average, do go all out for Halloween. Obviously, we celebrate Halloween here. Yeah, I feel it's like not a massive, massive holiday. Like, you may go Fort Park Friday night, you may go to a party or something like that. But Americans seem to go all out for Halloween. That's what it seems like. So if you guys want more reaction videos like this, let me know. And what are your guys' thoughts about autumn? I really like autumn and I really like winter. Like when it gets to those type of months, it just feels so cozy. I always like getting nice hot chocolate. Always a good time. So I'll see you guys next video. Have a great day, everyone.